into Nothing But Net. Check out the ACC Championship Hub for everything you need to know about ACC basketball tournaments, including exclusive Chalk Talks, highlights, games, and prizes. It's accessible from the ACC mobile app or accchamphub.com. Getting you set for the next semifinal game here on ACC Network. Georgia Tech and NC State tipping off right around 2:30. How about this? Jada Boyd, ACC Co-6 Player of the Year. She's averaging nearly 11 points per game and over 6 rebounds per game. Her 4 double-doubles tied for second on her team. Here's a little bit more about what makes Jada Boyd so unstoppable.
One word to describe Jada is outgoing.
Game day in Raleigh, you know who run Raleigh.
Potential.
Spark.
The word would be force. Hopefully a force to be reckoned with.
Out front, Kayla Jones dumps it in mid-post. Boyd faking to the baseline, turns to the inside, rattles one home and draws the foul. Bucket by Boyd.
You can't stop her. If she catch it in that high post or at the top of the key, good luck. That's all I'm gonna say, good luck.
She's got wow factor. You know, she's probably the best athlete on our team. You know, I just look at it, we got 6 starters. And you could throw the names in the hat and pull them out. But there's no doubt, too, it is great to have somebody coming in that can take over a game and change a game instantly.
Good the shovel. Boyd squeezes it in. It's a 12-point lead.
She's unguardable. Like, it's a mismatch every night with her. So she can attack, shoot the mid-range. But her rebounding is really, really good.
She can score in 4 levels. That means she can hit the 3, the pull-up J, she can drive, and she can post up. There's not a lot of answers in guarding her. Jada Boyd is not even scratched the surface. So I'm excited to see her in the future.
Jada Boyd was also our pick for 6th Player of the Year, and you heard there from some of her teammates what makes her so unstoppable. Coach, when you see Jada Boyd, what is it that stands out to you?
Well, she's just so versatile, and I love what Wes said. She could be a starter, but for me, on some of our teams, I liked having a really good player coming off the bench because that is just so much more difficult for the other team to devise how they're going to stop her. She is somebody that can score at so many different spots, but she just gives them that energy off the bench. She could be instant offense, she can defend, she can block a shot. She's going to help you at both ends of the floor.
I agree with everything that Coach said, and thus, my only question coming off of such a flattering piece from Jada's teammates is, Kelly, do you talk that glowingly about me as my teammate?
Monica, of course, on the reg, pretty much to anyone who will listen. So yes, of course, there's no problem about that. I do that all the time.
Let's talk about some more of these NC State teammates, because that's one thing when you look at this group is they are certainly all very balanced in what they've been able to do. The last time, y'all, that these two teams played, it was a 9-point game back in December 31st. Georgia Tech looks a lot different. We'll get to them in a second. But, Kelly, who else do you need to keep an eye on? I have a feeling you're going to say Elisa Cunane.
Well, first of all, that 9-point game back on New Year's Eve is really misleading because NC State blew Georgia Tech out of the building in the first half. And then Georgia Tech clawed their way back in and made the final score look respectable. So Georgia Tech understands that NC State kind of ate their lunch last time. And I think Georgia Tech's going to be very motivated. But you're right. This whole game, this whole matchup starts with Elisa Cunane inside, the best post player in the ACC, one of the best post players in the country. I think you have to be super physical with her, and you have to try to push her away from the block. Janelle Bailey, Kitley at times has done a good job of that, but that's the big challenge for Luella Kubai in this game, is pushing her off the block. And then if Kubai is guarding Cunane, can Hermosa guard Jada Boyd or Kayla Jones, or vice versa? That's a big thing to watch. Can the traditional post player for Tech guard one of those hybrid 4s for NC State?
That's my question as well, Kelly. I don't know that Hermosa can contain Cunane. And Cunane can take her away from the basket and make the 3 occasionally and post up with Jones inside. I think that she has so much more of a great supporting cast. But I think that the game is going to really come down to that. What's going to happen? The pace of the game. This team is ready to go. I think we heard Cunane say yesterday, when they go down the court, they're expecting to win. That's what their expectation is. Georgia Tech, again, playing with house money. They're where they need to be, and they're just playing for seeding in the NCAA tournament.
And Elisa Cunane had quite the day yesterday, 27 points in the win over Virginia Tech. Got to give her some love for how she's played in the tournaments as well, though, y'all. She averages 19 points per game in her 6 career conference tournaments games. That's tied for the 5th most among active major conference players. When we saw her playing yesterday, we saw her family in the crowd. Her mom was there, her dad was there, and she has a special relationship with both of her parents, but this is the story about her and her father.
My dad can't necessarily do all the things that he used to be able to do. To go hiking, dirt biking, all of that. And so now it's almost like he's living through me as I can do that.
She's a good, genuine person. She's just a good person.
Elisa Cunane, the starting center for the NC State Wolfpack, has a close relationship with her dad, Dan Cunane, who was injured in a bicycle accident when Elisa was just 2 years old.
December 15th, 2002, it was a Sunday. We had been to church that morning. It was my son's 5th birthday. I'd ridden off-road motorcycles for years, done a million things worse. I was gonna do a little jump at the end of our driveway, just a little drop about 2 feet into a ditch by our driveway. And I simply didn't hit it hard enough, didn't pull up fast enough, and I ended up going over the handlebars and landing right on my head. When I landed, I was paralyzed from the neck down instantly. And I remember when I landed, I was face down in the ditch. And my biggest worry was drowning in the ditch. In the last split second before I lost full ability, I was able to roll over and end up face up. And for the next maybe, 4 or 5 weeks, I could move absolutely nothing from the neck down. I fractured cervical vertebrae 4 through 7 and thoracic number 6.
Dan was diagnosed with central cord syndrome, a condition that prevents parts of the body from communicating with one another. As a result, he has limited feeling and movement below his neck.
Since I was so young when the accident happened, I don't really remember him getting hurt, you know? To me, it was always just, this is Dad.
Lisa, even when she was 2, 3 years old, she would stand on my feet and tell me it was time to do my toe raises. So with her weight, I would lift her up. And then she'd sit on my lap and tell me it was time to do my heel raises to work on my calves and stuff.
I always have just loved helping, not just him, not my mom, but everyone. I was 10 years old. I knew how to use all the power tools in the building, knew how to fix a bike, how to fix his wheelchair tires, could mow the lawn, drive the golf cart. We did everything.
She wanted to learn to do the things she could do to help me, even as a little kid.
As Elisa has helped her dad, he has helped her develop the mental approach and skills needed on the basketball court.
When I would play games and maybe get frustrated or be not playing well, he's like, just control yourself, be a good teammate, control your attitude and effort. And I think knowing those foundations has really led me to be where I am.
So how many times for Elisa Cunane do you think she has been in this moment, growing up 13 miles away, dreamed of hitting the winning shots to ice a championship? You know, her dad, Dan, has seen her hit at least 1,000 of these. Got them both. NC State, the Pack is back on top.
Just weeks after winning the 2020 ACC Championship, when Elisa was home during the early stages of the pandemic, she decided to repair her dad's old bike and take it with her back to school. The same bike that her dad was riding when he had his accident now gets Elisa around campus.
I think about all the places that my dad has been, not only with that bike, but just in his life as he traveled. And so I think that motivates me to want to go out there and experience the world as he did.
I've heard some people say, well, she needs to be meaner when she's playing basketball. I disagree. I think if you are a mean person, you should be mean when you're playing basketball. If you're a good person, you should play the game just like you live your life. You watch any of her games, and any player that goes down, regardless of what their uniform color is, she's the first one there to help them get up. And again, that speaks to me of how you live your life. You live like you're going to do everything. Do anything like you're going to do everything.
Such an incredibly inspiring story there, Monica, and I just think speaks to the fact that you never know, A, what some people are going through, or B, what they're playing for.
Yeah, and I love the line toward the end of that piece from Alyssa's dad, you do everything like you do anything. I think that's true, and I always say you take yourself with you wherever you go, and that is just a tremendous example of a family being there for one another, and Alyssa continuing to do everything the way she does anything, with that smile, with that joy, and with that gratitude, and it certainly shows through. I mean, kudos to that family for sharing that story with us.
It's an incredible story, and every time I see it, it gets you emotional. There's no doubt about it. The Cunnane family sure sounds like an incredible family, and you can tell how they've raised Elisa. You know, her dad talks about she plays with such joy. Her nickname is Big Smile, and sometimes we say, Elisa, you need to be a little more physical, and that's something that we say about her game, but I think her joy for the game really shines through, and she is being a little more physical this year. I'm not saying, Dad, that she's being mean on the court. That's not what we're saying. I think she's just being a little more physical, but her game and her love of the game is so refreshing, and it's one of the many reasons why I love watching her play.
Me too. And I just love these life lessons because the game is so much more than basketball. It is so much of a mental game. 90% of it is psychology and how you approach things, how you handle things, especially the adversity. And what better way to handle adversity when you're looking at your dad and what he's gone through to say, maybe I do have it pretty easy. And so I think that's really helped her game. Definitely why her attitude is so good.
She is from Summerfield, North Carolina, a town just north of Greensboro. So this is a place where she certainly loves to play. We will talk to Holly Rowe about that in just a little bit. Tip-off set for 2:32. We are under 18 minutes away from our second semifinal game, Georgia Tech and NC State going head-to-head. So we've focused a lot on the Wolfpack. Let's talk about this 3-seed Georgia Tech, though, trying to make it to the ACC championship game for just the third time in their program. Kelly, when you look at this Georgia Tech team, how they match up with Cunnane and some of these other players that NC State has, what's going to be key?
Well, I think you got to start with the ACC Coach of the Year and Nell Fortner and the job she's done there, the program she's built. Georgia Tech is in Atlanta, one of the hottest basketball cities in the country, and I think she's using that to her advantage. But think about this. Just on today, semifinal Saturday, we're seeing the ACC Player of the Year. We're seeing the co-6th Women of the Year in Jada Boyd in this game coming up, and Emily Inksler, Freshman of the Year in Cardoso in the first game. Most Improved, Lodamai Lottanen, and the Coach of the Year in Nell Fortner, and the other Coach of the Year in Wes Moore. All the stars are out for this game, and especially in this one in NC State and Georgia Tech. We talk so much about Cunnane. On the flip side, Lorella Kubai. Can she stick with Cunnane defensively? Can she give her some trouble? And can she score as well? Because sometimes Kubai, she rebounds the ball well, but they need her offense as well, Coach.
So I think you're saying the Accolades really did a pretty good job of picking the winners. And it is kind of fun to see this, isn't it? I mean, this is just great basketball that we're watching right now. And I'm excited about all the matchups, but I'm not sure Georgia Tech matches up well with NC State. I think they're going to have to play a little more zone. I think that they're going to have to see if NC State can make some shots. But for me, Perez, I think, is the best point guard on the floor. She has got 100 assists to about 30 turnovers, just a fabulous relation there. And she is somebody that just makes this team go. I'm not sure that size-wise, Georgia Tech, other than the two bigs, can really match up with the perimeter of NC State.
Coach, I agree with you. And I think while I've loved this Georgia Tech defense all season long, I think their offensive firepower is a real concern here. Even if they attempt to switch it up with various defenses, we keep talking about the balance of NC State. And yes, Raina's been terrific, but if Kayla Jones needs to bring the ball up against the pressure, she can handle that task too. So it's really going to come down to X's and O's. And I know that this is sort of a duh thing when we talk basketball, but literally possession by possession for Georgia Tech. They can't allow NC State to get on a run because I think the deficit would be too much for them to overcome offensively.
Georgia Tech beat Clemson yesterday in a close game to get here. They are trying to win their first ever ACC Tournament championship. To do so, they've got to get through NC State first. Lorella Kubai, a big piece of this Georgia Tech puzzle, the ACC Co-Defensive Player of the Year. We'll see what she's able to do in just about 15 minutes as they take on NC State. And if there are any upsets, two teams that are securely in the field, well, you are about to see them play next year on ACC Network. Georgia Tech and NC State just about 8 minutes away from tip-off. Elisa Cunane, just a fantastic player for NC State. And Kelly, Georgia Tech has some fantastic players as well.
They have Lodamai Lottanen, which I like to say, oh my Lodamai, because of how much she has improved. She put a 30-piece on NC State back on New Year's Eve. ACC's most improved player, Lodamai Lottanen, can do everything. She can score the ball. She also is way up there in the ACC in steals. She's a good facilitator. Keep an eye on Lodamai in this game.
All right, so NC State, we got to talk Jada Boyd and bump Miss Congeniality. I'm going with Miss Versatility. You just heard her teammates rave about the talent of Jada Boyd, her athleticism, her knack for finding the basketball, whether it's in terms of rebounds or jumping into passing lanes, and her willingness to play the mismatches as a defender. And of course, she wreaks havoc as an offensive player because she is just as much of a mismatch problem.
As you take a look at the tail of the tape between these two teams, Georgia Tech and NC State, just minutes away from tip-off in the second semifinal. NC State top 15 in Division I in two different categories, points per game and field goal percentage. We saw these two teams play back on December 31st. It was a 9-point win for NC State, and here to talk more about that game is our very own Holly Rowe on the sidelines for this game. Holly, mentioned that they played back in December, but this Georgia Tech team looks a lot different than the last time we saw them against NC State. What's different for them this go-round?
Well, that's right. I spoke with Nell Fortner, the coach of this team, this morning, and she said, Holly, we are not the same team at all. Three different starters in that game versus what they will start and put on the floor today. She had a really good, positive approach that this is a different team, that they have different matchups, and they can present different problems for NC State. She thinks their spacing and their ability to really get downhill. But the thing that she said the most is, NC State, we have to defend them with discipline. We cannot afford to get into foul trouble. We cannot let them dictate what we're trying to do. And she had great confidence that if they defended with discipline, they could give them a really good matchup because they're completely different from that December matchup.
Georgia Tech trying to get back to the finals for the first time since 2012. Holly, on the other side of it, it's NC State. They don't just know a lot about the finals, they know a lot about winning it. They're the defending champs. And speaking of familiar territory, Elisa Cunane, she's from just down the road there and has played well in the ACC tournament. What have you heard about Elisa and how she feels playing there for the ACC tournament?
Well, think about how special this is. Elisa Cunane, one of the best players in the country this season for NC State. She actually grew up coming to this tournament. She would sit here in the stands. She said she came many years as a little kid, and she said even when I couldn't come and I had to stay in high school and be in class, I would beg my teachers to turn on the games. So if you look at her trying to perform here on this court behind us, this has been a lifelong dream of hers. She was that little kid sitting in the stands, and I know that she wants to show out big and show a great example for other little kids who might be watching her in that same situation. So think about that, from the stands to the court. Elisa Cunane, a really special story and connection here in North Carolina. And I can tell you this, if you look around, I know we don't have a ton of fans that are allowed in right now, but it's a lot of red and black. I think the NC State fans have come out in full force and want to see this very special young woman and very special team play today.
Holly, I'm just anxious to sit here on the other side and listen to you ask some of those hard-hitting questions that I was used to trying to ignore, because you would come out and say, oh, I love your Bet on Women t-shirt. You look so great today. So what's the deal with you and Gino? I'm anxious to hear some of those good, tough questions to Wes and Nell.
Coach, you know you miss me. I know that you really deep down inside of you miss that. I know you do.
I do, absolutely do.
She doesn't.
So glad to have you
she
back.
doesn't. I know she doesn't.
Holly, thanks so much. Looking forward to hearing you on the call with Beth Mowens and Debbie Antonelli in just under 5 minutes. As we come back into the studio, Coach, that was fun. I know you don't get a lot of chances to be on this side and to be the one that's interviewing someone like Holly. So that was a fun moment. But Kelly, your key to this game is now we are just about 5 minutes away from tip-off.
Well, hold on. I thought Coach was going to spill the Geno tea. But anyway, we'll do that later. We'll do that off air. Keys for this game, Georgia Tech at NC State. I think first and foremost for Georgia Tech, I thought Holly made a great point that Coach Fortner talked about. They have to be disciplined. They have to be super disciplined defensively. Georgia Tech does not have a lot of depth. They only got 4 minutes from their bench yesterday versus Clemson. So they want to play their starters pretty much the whole game, and that means Lorela Kubai and Nerea Hermosa have to stay out of foul trouble. That is my biggest key if I had to pick one thing for Georgia Tech if they want to stay in this game.
Okay, Cal, I like that. I definitely like that. It's a signature of what Georgia Tech does defensively. But on the flip side of that, I still say they're going to have to put the basketball into the basket at a rate that allows them to stay in tow with this Wolfpack squad, who we know is tremendously balanced. Now, the depth off the bench is going to be huge, and they got to stay out of foul trouble. But I think we all will agree that this Georgia Tech team has grown incrementally. In that same breath, coming down the stretch of the regular season, they didn't necessarily finish it particularly strong. So we'll see how much of that growth pans out as we're now in win or go home mode.
You know, I love those great coaching nuggets and the gems that the coaches come out with. And I was guilty of this myself. You're in the huddle late in the game and you look at your team and you're like, we got to score. And I think that, honestly, you got to put the ball in the basket. And that is going to be the challenge for Georgia Tech today, both against this defense, but they're not a high-scoring offense anyway.
Straightforward, not earth-shattering, but that's the nuggets that we need right there, Coach. They've got to do it in order to win, and Georgia Tech is certainly going to make it tough for them. We picked the last game. You guys all picked Louisville, and that ended up being right, so no pressure. Coach, who do you have winning this game, NC State or Georgia Tech?
I'm going with the Wolfpack.
Okay, Kelly?
This is so tough. I think this game is going to be close. I do not think this is going to be a blowout, but I'm going with NC State as well because of their balance and offensive firepower.
I guess I make it 3 for 3. I'm taking the Wolfpack as well. Their balance in particular, like we said, Alyssa Cunane looks like she's in another mode.
We will see if you are right. You all have picked NC State to win it. Georgia Tech not going to be happy about that, but right now they are locked and loaded trying to get back to the finals for the first time since 2012. NC State trying to make it back to the finals and defend what they won last year. We will see you back here at the half right now. Let's get you out to Beth Mowins, Debbie Antonelli, and Holly Rowe.
Greensboro, North Carolina, the Greensboro Coliseum. Semifinals Saturday at the ACC Tournament. It's the 2-seed NC State, the defending champs, and the 3-seed Georgia Tech seeking their first ACC Tournament title and their third trip to the finals if they can pull off the upset here today. Earlier, the number 1 seed advanced. Dana Evans leading the way. Everybody got into the pool for the Cardinals. 9 of 10 players scored as they eliminated Syracuse, and they are into the finals for the 3rd time in 4 years. So the 1 seed is in, and now it's time for NC State and Georgia Tech. Welcome to the Greensboro Coliseum. Beth Mowins, Debbie Antonelli, and Holly Rowe. And for this NC State team, a couple of wins over number 1 ranked opponents this year, Debbie, and they've done it with terrific balance.
That's the thing about NC State, Beth. It's their balance. All 5 starters have 3-level scoring. They all shoot the 3. They all can get to the free throw line. Jakia Brown-Turner, Kayla Jones, and Elisa Cunane, all first-team All-ACC performers. Kayla Jones is the best hybrid 4 in the country, and Elisa Cunane might be the best low-post player who also has the ability to shoot 3s. And Jakia Brown-Turner is a lockdown defender on the perimeter. Wes Moore, the head coach, has got a lot of options on offense.
A Wolfpack side with Final Four potential this year. First order of business is to get into the ACC championship game, and they'll have to get through Lorela Kubai and one of the most improved teams in the country, Georgia Tech.
Kubai anchors everything. Best rebounder, best passing big in the ACC at 3 assists a game, and she can dominate rim to rim. Different looking team, Holly Rowe, than the one that lost to NC State earlier this year.
That's right. When these two teams met the end of January, this is a very different lineup. Nell Fortner, the ACC Coach of the Year, said, we're completely different. 3 different starters in the starting lineup than that last time that they faced up. And 2 of those new starters were big time in their game yesterday. Kiera Fletcher with 21 points, Loyal McQueen with 14 points, 4 for 4 on threes. She said, we are a different team. I expect a different outcome.
Deep bench for NC State, short bench for Georgia Tech. Their 5 starters all played at least 36 minutes yesterday in a win over Clemson. NC State, since they lost to North Carolina a few weeks ago, they have been an absolute battering ram. They've won 6 in a row by nearly 20 points per game. Offensive rebound for the number 2 seed in their home whites. Cunane with a touch and a walk. You're going to see one of the best post-entry, post-feed teams in the country. Nobody passes the ball into the block better than NC State. They do such a good job of allowing Elisa Cunane time to shape up on the inside. At 6'5", she's tough to deal with. Mid-range off the mark from Nerea Hermosa. Crutchfield short on the shot. Another second chance for NC State. And Cunane assisted by Raina Perez, the grad transfer from Cal State Fullerton, who's been a fantastic find. You know what, Beth? She has led the ACC all season in assist-turnover ratio. She makes great decisions with a lot of options to get the ball to players who can score.
Last year's tournament MVP for NC State was Ace Koenig, and Perez has stepped right into that void for the Wolfpack this year. And a nice runner inside, Lotomai Lahtinen, the junior from Finland, who had a career-high 30 against the Wolfpack in that earlier season matchup.
This is an underrated backcourt for Nell Fortner, with Kiera Fletcher with that big 21-point game yesterday, and then Lotomai Lahtinen, who can really fill it up.
Kayla Jones, senior from Jamesville, North Carolina, all ACC first-teamer this year.
Not a surprise that Westmore featuring her early, because she has that 3-point shooting ability. And the reason why I call her the best hybrid, Beth, is because she's not just a stretch 4. A stretch 4 can pick and pop, shoot the 3. She can make decisions with the ball in her hands besides being able to pick and pop.
Lahtinen hits her second bucket. They're starters from Spain, Finland, Italy, South Carolina, and Michigan for Georgia Tech with the international flair, and they force the turnover. 2-on-1 break. And taking it all the way for the finish is Kiera Fletcher.
This is a game where Nell Fortner wants to make sure her big players, Hermoso and Kubai, have a chance to pound away on the interior against Cunane. If they can stay with their big lineup, that could be trouble for NC State. But if NC State can make them play small, meaning just one of those bigs on the floor, it's to NC State's advantage.
Foul trouble was an issue for both sides, Cunane and Kubai, and there's an offensive foul. The first time they met, they were both under 25 minutes of court time. And they're battling the paint. There's a look at Westmore, now in his 8th season at NC State, over 30 years on the bench in total with over 700 wins. He was the coach's pick for Coach of the Year in the league. Nell Fortner was the media pick for Coach of the Year on the other side. Jones, short on the open look. Hermosa with the leak and the lay-in. Third place finish for Nell Fortner's side, the best in school history. They tied their ACC record with 12 conference wins this year.
Nice one more by the Wolfpack.
Jakia Brown-Turner for 3.
Kayla Jones is not going to hesitate from the 3-point line. If she does, that could be a problem for NC State. She's going to be open because there's one of those bigs that's switching out on her, and it's tough for bigs to chase the players off the 3-point line.
Here is Reina Perez. Trying to get Cunane down on the block. Here she is, and one.
What a tremendous post feed by Reina Perez. Fakes one way, drops it off, and puts some zip on it. So Cunane already has Hermosa at a deficit. Just powers through with that 6'5" frame, and she is a terrific three-point shooter.
In the quarterfinal win over Virginia Tech, 27 points, 9 boards. She was fabulous. Wolfpack have assisted on 4 of their 5 baskets and a 13-8 lead.
Nearly 60% of their baskets assisted on the season.
Fletcher, shot clock's at 5, she'll launch. Cunane, power forward to point guard for Elisa.
But she can get him in their transition game, and if you can push, you might be able to get an early mismatch.
Goes to the right, little baby hook rolls off the rim and out.
See, right now, Nell Fortner electing to play straight up and not to bring any help to that matchup with Cunane. And you would think that Hermosa could handle it at 6'5". She's also a strong interior player. See, this middle pick and roll right here is what NC State had trouble with in the first matchup. It's part of the reason why Latame Lahtinen had 30. I had that game, and Nell Fortner ran that set consecutively, and NC State couldn't guard it.
That's Kubai stepping inside the line for 2. Good start to our second ACC semifinal. The winner gets Louisville tomorrow for the championship.
When you grow up nearby in Greensboro, you come to tournament games, and that's exactly what Elisa Cunane has done her whole life. She said as a kid, this was the place to be.
I did go to the tournament as a kid. I don't really remember what years I was able to go, but I do remember like Notre Dame winning it one year. And then also when I was in high school, I wasn't able to go anymore, but I would definitely ask the teachers if they could turn it on their TVs in class. And all the kids would just be watching the ACC tournament the whole week. It's surreal. Like, as a kid, I never really thought like, oh, that's gonna be me, or even like, I want that to be me. That was just such a different world to me. And now being in college, like going to the ACC tournament every year, being in Greensboro, which is my home, I get so excited on the drive.
It's about 25 minutes northwest of the Coliseum, Summerfield, North Carolina. And she has molded and developed her game into one of the best in the league.
She's one of the best players in the country,
yep.
And she's an incredible ambassador for women's basketball. That's why I call her Big Smile. That's her nickname, and it has carried over. She's got a couple of things that she owns now with the hashtag Big Smile written on them. She told me.
She's having a lot of fun with her teammates. Brown Turner gets to the baseline for the lay-in. Both sides shooting better than 50% to open up the ball game.
And Georgia Tech is a really good defensive team, led the league in scoring defense this year, and a lot of that has to do with pace and tempo because this is a ball control offense. See, they do a really good job of getting deep into the shot clock, getting an open look. Kubai's already made one.
All 5 starters have scored for Georgia Tech. Cunane, good position. Couldn't finish.
See, that's where she's got to be tougher and finish that play on balance.
Guarded by Hermosa. Fletcher had that 21-point performance in the quarterfinals last night. Tech had the late game squeaked by Clemson. Shot clock's at 5. A little flat on that shot from Loyal McQueen, the big recruit out of Florence, South Carolina.
Really good player. And you saw Jakia Brown-Turner jump out on that left hand because she is a very strong left-hand dominant player. Made 4 threes in the first half last night.
Reina Perez raining down the 3.
I know there's a lot of great graduate transfers across the landscape in women's college basketball, but I'm telling you right now, Reina Perez has had a significant impact since day 1 on NC State's team and their success.
Defense made that tough on Lautinen. Kayla Jones head up, racing the other way with it. Cunane, much more aggressive looking, hunting her shot here in the first half.
Yeah, she's got to get those higher on the glass. And Hermosa is doing a good job contesting that matchup.
The catch by Kubai. Got to send it back out and turns it over.
Really good lockdown, 1 pass away by NC State's defense, which is a little bit underrated. They don't give up very many offensive rebounds. They play a little bit of a softer cover. They're not up the line overplaying.
There's Nell Fortner, outstanding in her 2nd season at Georgia Tech. Picked 9th in the preseason. They ended up in 3rd place. And the foul out top.
We were talking about this earlier, Beth. You know, Nell Fortner has been Coach of the Year in 3 power leagues. Purdue in the Big Ten, Auburn in the SEC, and here at Georgia Tech. I don't think anybody else has ever done that.
That's to go along with gold medal for Team USA, and also coached in the WNBA in Indiana for a few years.
I mean, that's a Hall of Fame resume.
Yep. How about playing for Jody Conrad at Texas and assisting for Leon Barmore at Louisiana Tech along the way?
I mean, she's checking all the boxes.
She sure is.
Alongside being our colleague at ESPN for multiple years.
Spent some time on the dark side with us. Yes, she did. Lautinen. Strong move to the right side.
Yeah, she's a strong power guard. She's got a strong physical presence with the ball in her hands.
Brown Turner in and out. 2nd chance, no go. Kubai's got it.
I mean, you mentioned the Olympics. We got some players out here that most likely will be on their national team, including Latime Lautinen.
ACC's most improved player this year. They will hold for the final shot of the 1st quarter. Open look. Good if it goes. Off the side of the backboard. 18-14, NC State with the lead.
Latime Lautinen getting a piece of the paint high off the glass, and Elisa Cunane in a 1-on-1.
Coming up at halftime, we'll get you into the studio with the Nothing But Net crew for all the latest highlights and game analysis. They'll run you through our first semifinal. Louisville, a winner over Syracuse. Kelsey Riggs, Monica McNutt, Kelly Gramlich, and Muffet McGraw with all the insights on this championship weekend around 3 of the Power 5 leagues. We've got the 3 championship games lined up starting at noon tomorrow with the ACC final on ESPN2, followed by the SEC championship, and then primetime, West Coast, Vegas, Stanford, and UCLA for the Pac-12 title. That may be, Debbie, in all likelihood will be a look at 3 of the 4 1 seeds for the NCAA tournament, and an and 1 opportunity here for Georgia Tech. Of course, it looks really good for UConn and Stanford and Texas A&M. And then that 4th spot, perhaps South Carolina's to win or lose in the next couple of days, as you see that look. Aaliyah Love, the freshman from Kansas City, Kansas. First foul of the day on the Wolfpack. They didn't have one in that 1st quarter.
Both teams happy to just walk it up and execute in the quarter court.
Camille Hobby. just 1 minute off of the Georgia Tech bench in that first quarter. Only a couple minutes off the NC State bench, but they are going to some of their backups here who are playing like starters, as Jada Boyd.
Jada Boyd is like a 6th starter for NC State, and boy, she's explosive. Oh, great backdoor cut. Terrific setup by Nell Fortner and her staff. Jakia Brown-Turner face guarding Latame Lotnin, and that's the way you cut to the basket to score.
Georgia Tech within 1. Ty Crutchfield. Abby had the position, now has to step back. Will try and muscle her way into the lane, does so, and gets to the right hand for 2.
I mean, does a great job getting to the midline with that half hook over her left shoulder. She's a player that benefited from Elisa Cunane being in the COVID protocols, because she was able to step up and get quality minutes and really help develop some depth for NC State. We already know Jada Boyd's a big part of their depth.
Yeah, Cunane missed 2 games with the COVID protocols, including one of their losses to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, both the Virginia Tech games.
Terrific box out, and that allows Perez to scoot in and grab it. Tough skit and the catch and a foul.
Watch this backdoor play and this setup by Georgia Tech. Latame Lotnin cuts high. When the ball goes into Kubai, it's a great cut and a great finish with her offhand. Cleared out the whole side of the floor. Very well designed and a great finish. Here comes the help.
Double team forces her to give it up and turn it over.
Hey, that's a great change by Nell Fortner, mixing it up. Part of the reason why she was Coach of the Year. It's the first time all game they've brought a double, and they bring it from post to post. Coach Fortner, she's been around the block a little bit. She knows what's going on.
15-7 on the season. They have not been to the NCAA tournament in 7 years. Their 2012 team reached the Sweet 16 that year. Projected as a 6 seed right now by Charlie Cream. That would change significantly if they get the win today.
Oh, there was some contact on that, but no call. Nell Fortner's Georgia Tech team as a 3 seed in this tournament is the highest seed they've ever had, and 12 wins in conference play ties the most they've had this in their program's history.
Here is Georgia Tech in the postseason. Good success with Michelle Joseph for many years in Atlanta. Former Purdue standout. Off the turnover. Lotnin through traffic, weaves her way into the left side. I mean, Lullaby with another lay-in.
Look at that body control. Georgia Tech having a little run right here.
Lotnin says, hey, let's play NC State every day. 30 points in the first matchup. She's already got 10 here on 5 of 8 shooting. Brown-Turner gets him a second chance. And here comes Cunane back on.
Latame Lotnin, watch, gets it on the elbow. Good pivot, swipes the ball over the top. So strong and powerful, plays the game on balance. Can't knock her off her line. She can get to the free throw line as well.
NC State yet to have a response to her. They've gone cold here in this second quarter. A chance for Georgia Tech to take the lead. Short on the shot. Bodies banging around, and Tech will come back out with it.
NC State wanted the over-the-back call.
And there is a foul on Love with the Love tap. That'll be her second.
I mean, keeping Lorella Kubai off the glass on the offensive end is an incredible challenge. Averages 3 offensive rebounds a game, but led the ACC in rebounding. And she can rebound over her head, in traffic, out of her area. She can crash from the top. She's tremendous with great energy on the boards.
Averaged a double-double, nearly 12 points, 12 rebounds a game. She's got a couple of points and 5 boards already, number 13 in blue.
And she's going to get her chance on Cunane. And I think Nell Fortner didn't want to start Kubai on Cunane for foul trouble reasons.
Good read on the drive of Jones, and then the dive to the bucket by Boyd.
And when you play through the post.
Snuck in the back door for 2. Lawton kicks to Fletcher. Good for 3.
Now, Kayla Jones knows you can't help on the strong side on a lane line drive when you've got a 3-point shooter you're defending, because you can't recover back to the 3-point shooter fast enough.
First triple after 6 misses for Georgia Tech, and they've knotted the score. Cunane tries the left and got it. Able to keep her feet and work the body around the defender.
I don't know what's more exciting, a step through by a post player with great footwork or a crossover in transition to pull up jump shot.
You know the point guard, and he's got to go with a cross.
I know. Me too.
With the ankle breakers.
Right.
But nonetheless, good footwork by the big girl. Oh, she wanted Boyd to go back door and missed it. She has tremendous basketball IQ, does
I mean, she fell down with the ball. Isn't that traveling?
Should be. Georgia Tech wanted it. They'll get possession on the rebound.
See, those are the plays where Elisa Cunane has got to play the game low to high so she doesn't get knocked off balance.
Kubai trying to go to work on Cunane.
Yes.
Rattles it home.
Putting a little Italian on it.
All ACC performer, co-defensive player of the year.
Most coaches in the ACC describe her as like a beast on the inside, like a monster to deal with, because she's so determined.
She's got the assignment on Cunane and made that a very difficult shot.
See, every time Cunane falls in that one-on-one matchup, that's momentum building for Georgia Tech.
That's a big positive when they can put her on the deck.
Yeah, then you get numbers going the other way, plus you're just taking her confidence away.
Yep. Goodbye. Deep. Georgia Tech with the lead over NC State. Under 3 to go in the first half.
A couple of long twos for Lorella Kubai. Well, there's a lot of contact on that one. Now, she did close down the space, but okay. They can play, let them play.
Strong to the right side, and the lay-in is good for Boyd.
2 back-to-back plays for Boyd.
20 of their 30 points in the lane. They are taking it at the Wolfpack.
See, this is where I thought Nell Fortner, with playing small with just one big, would be to NC State's advantage, but actually their quickness has helped them build this lead.
And the foul will be on Cunane, trying to snare the miss.
Elisa Cunane stepped through with contact, finishes at the rim, and Lorella Kubai says, I got the half hook right back at you.
Well, we're just getting started, folks, on a busy day around the ACC. How about the All-ACC watch party tonight for the Duke men?
And the Carolina men, Jordan Cornette hosting. You got Carlos Boozer representing the Blue Devils, Vince Carter with the Heels, sharing stories and reacting to the game in real time right here on ACC Net and your ESPN app. Defending champs having some issues right now with Georgia Tech. Those 20 paint points almost matching State's total. We've had 3 ties and 5 lead changes in a back and forth first half. Winner will face Louisville tomorrow for the ACC championship. Top-seeded Cardinals dispatched Syracuse earlier today. You know, right now, Beth, Georgia Tech is the tougher team. They are cutting hard. They're putting it on the bounce hard. They're defending hard.
As a result, they have the 4-point edge. 1:17 to play in the first half. Canaan will check out. Shot clock's at 9. The countdown from the Tech bench. Fletcher, short, turnover.
Good D. Maybe that'll give NC State a little momentum here.
They are just 4 of 11, Debbie, in this second quarter. And credit to this Georgia Tech defense, the best in the ACC. And despite some late season stumbles, they finished 4-4 coming into the tournament. Looking strong so far this afternoon. Jones.
Putback is good. Now there's a tough play. Kayla Jones on the weak side. Wide open look for Jakia Brown-Turner.
Canaan with 9 to lead NC State. Lotman's 10. Tops for Tech. And 1.
I mean, Loda Maya is just lighting it up here in the first half. She's going wherever she wants off the bounce. NC State's primary defender on her, because it's been multiple players, has not done a good job. Look at pass-through screen or a ghost screen. And NC State's not communicating that very well. Again, Beth, the middle third of the floor and what Nell Fortner runs has been a problem for NC State. In the first game in December, it's a problem here again in the ACC tournament.
13 now for Lawton. It's a 9-2 Georgia Tech run. Shot clock is off. Perez gets it inside. Opposite Crutchfield. No. And Georgia Tech takes the lead into the locker room over the defending champion, NC State Wolfpack.
What a first 20 minutes by Nell Fortner's club. Good adjustments, good cadence on the offensive end, and Lotta May Lotton has been the toughest guard on the floor so far today.
6 of 9. For Loda Maya with 13 points to lead all scorers. And let's check in now with Holly and Nell Fortner.
Well, Coach Fortner, you told me this morning we are a different team than the last time we played. How has your team really showed that with their aggressive style here in the first half?
Well, I tell you, we're playing with some confidence, but we're playing just really hard right now. I think that, you know, this is a team that's hungry. And so that was a good 20 minutes for us. We'll see what we can do the next 20. Good to see you too, Holly.
You too. I want to ask about Lotta Maya Lawton, and she has been terrific. Tell me about how she's able to cut the corner and go right down the lane. 12 points in this first half.
You know, the biggest thing I can say about her, Maya is gritty. She's a gritty player. She's a tremendous competitor, and she knows what her strengths are. And so right now she's just trying to play to her strengths.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
All right, let's check in now with the ladies back in the studio. Kelsey Riggs leads it. We'll be back right after this on the ACC Network.
All right, Holly, thanks. Welcome into this ACC Network halftime report alongside Coach Muffet McGraw, Kelly Gramlich, and Monica McNutt. I'm Kelsey Riggs. 33-28. Georgia Tech on top at the break. What a phenomenal first half, really a defensive battle. We knew, Kelly, that this Georgia Tech team was good defensively. NC State normally averages about 79 points per game. They were held to just 28 at the half. How was Georgia Tech able to do it?
Well, this game was going to be close because Georgia Tech, to Coach Fortner's point, is hungry and motivated, and they are very, very talented. I think the big key here for Georgia Tech has been Lorella Kubai inside. Cunane got some buckets early, but ever since the beginning part of that first quarter, Kubai has been locked in on Cunane. She's been very physical with her. I think Debbie makes a great point. Every time Cunane fades away from the basket or gets pushed off her mark, that's when you know Kubai is doing a great job. And Lodemai Lottinen is one of the best players in the ACC. We've got to put some respect on her name, and she has been balling out so far in this first half.
I'm really surprised with NC State's inability to contain the ball, and that is something that I didn't expect. And I think what happened was last night when Georgia Tech won, Wes Moore got his team together and he said, this is a great team. We're going to really have to be focused. Here's what we're going to have to do. And all the players heard was blah, 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 blah. We beat them before. It's not going to be a game. We're ready to play Louisville. And it looks like they just came out and just don't have the intensity.
Wow, Coach, not blah, blah, blah. Wow, man, that's something. But I will say this, Georgia Tech's focus, and Coach Fortner used the word that I love, gritty. I think that's what we're starting to see. We knew that this team was going to get their energy from defense. And I think even when a defense is stout, sometimes you just have better offense. And I think we saw that a little bit, particularly with the Cunane-Kubai matchup. At points, Kubai played great defense, but Cunane had better offense. But what I will say is I do think that Georgia Tech's defense is forcing North Carolina State to get deeper into their offense than maybe they're accustomed to because they have this high-powered, balanced offense using. And so they've been a little less than patient in terms of their shot selection. Flip side, even if they allow NC State to score, because they're proud of their defensive continuity, they're going down on the other side and executing with confidence, particularly Lodemai Lottinen getting down the floor. And Kelly, don't say we, because I've been put some respect on her name.
13 points for her in the first half, and Georgia Tech has a 5-point lead at the break. We'll talk second half adjustments in just a little while, but right now both of these teams playing for the chance to be in the ACC Tournament Finals, where they will meet Louisville. We'll show you how the game went down between Louisville and Syracuse when we come back. Welcome back into this ACC Network halftime report. First semifinal of the day. Number 1 seed Louisville, number 5 seed Syracuse. Last minute of the first quarter, Louisville up by 6. Haley Van Lith, the freshman, knocking them down from outside all tournament long. Next play, same score. Camila Cardoso, also a freshman, gets the foul as well. That cuts the lead to just 6. But then, Monica, Louisville's defense turned into offense.
Yeah, Louisville had a very balanced attack in this one. They had 4 players in double digits. They had 3 hovering around that 8 and 7 mark. So this was by far one of their more balanced performances.
Syracuse may have played 3 games in 3 days, but they came out still wanting to win this one. Emily Angstler for 3 had a game-high 21 points, 10 rebounds. That cuts the lead to single digits, but Louisville in the fourth quarter, they had players stepping up from all over. Narika Kona there, 10 points off the bench. And then, of course, the ACC Player of the Year for the second straight year, Dana Evans, up and under there. Louisville wins 72-59 to advance to the ACC final for the third time in the last 4 years. They are waiting to play the winner of the game you are watching right now between Georgia Tech and NC State. Here is Holly Rowe after the game with Dana Evans.
Tell us a little bit about what it means to get into the championship game after that didn't happen last season.
It means a lot. As a senior, this is what I wanted. I mean, we got the opportunity to win another championship, and this is what it's all about. And I'm just excited for my freshmen and my newcomers because they said they never experienced this. So it's a blessing to be here and to get an opportunity to play again tomorrow.
Monica, we know what Dana Evans can do on the court, and we hear all the time about her being a leader. But that interview right there that she had with Holly Rowe after the game, I think we heard it and saw it more than ever.
Yeah, definitely. And I believe Dana was 100% sincere in that. In this particular instance, this was the game that gave her the wiggle room to do this, as Louisville, for the most part, had a lead throughout the entire ballgame. However, come tomorrow, championship action, I think being a distributor has to become a secondary goal, and Dana has to be Dana.
Absolutely right. No question. Dana's got to come out and have a big game because she's got to put the rest of those freshmen at ease. She's got to let them know that she's ready to take on the bulk of the work. She's just going to need a little help from them. And I think that will ease the pressure. But she has not really scored as much as we've seen in past tournaments. So I think it's important for her to really get off to a good start tomorrow.
All right, we will see what happens, but right now they're watching to see who they will play. We've got Georgia Tech, NC State going head-to-head right now as you take a look at those first half stats. Kelly, what adjustments do you want to see NC State make in the second half?
Well, defensively, I think it starts defensively for NC State. You've got to find a way to get the ball out of Lodomai Laughtonen's hands, make some other players beat you at the guard position. And then on the flip side for NC State, I think you got to find a way to get Jakia Brown-Turner going. She was quiet yesterday. She's been quiet today. To me, she's your most talented guard. See if she can get going from outside. It might open things up more on the inside for your post players.
The Wolfpack have a goose egg in terms of fast break opportunities. I think sometimes when you play a team that is connected and willing to sit and defend you the duration of a shot clock, you need some easy baskets. This team can get up and down the floor. Jada Boyd is tremendously athletic. Even Alyssa Cunane runs the floor great. So I'm looking for them to find some easy baskets. And then they've got to settle in and be willing to work that ball around and get the best shot. Not just a good shot, the best shot.
All right, Georgia Tech with a 33-28 lead at the break. We will see who is going to play Louisville in the finals on ACC Network. It is the number 3 seed, Georgia Tech, trying to make it back to the finals for the first time since 2012.
Second semifinal of the day. Louisville is already into the championship game. Georgia Tech a leg up through the first 20 minutes on the defending champion NC State Wolfpack as we get set to start the third quarter. Beth Mowens, Debbie Antonelli, Holly Rowe, Lodomai Laughtonen, the star of this first half. Debbie, 5 of her 6 baskets were layups, leading all scorers with 13 points. I mean, she's using that physical frame off the bounce to put NC State at a deficit. She is attacking her primary, getting into the second level. The help is late. She makes the play at the rim. She's so crafty. She can score left or right. She can score right foot, wrong foot. Doesn't matter. She is getting to the rim. She is strong off the bounce, and she has made NC State pay for it with her 6 for 9 shooting in the first half.
Couple of boards, couple of assists as well. Elisa Cunane leading the way for NC State with 9 points, but just 2 of those in a cold second quarter for the Wolfpack. And on the season, close to 80 points a game, close to 50% shooting, well below that in the first half against the best defensive team in the conference.
It's been a combination of their lockdown defense for Georgia Tech, but also their ball control offense. They are going deeper into the shot clock and getting a quality look. That shortens the game when you don't have a lot of depth.
3 players played all 20 minutes for Tech, and a 4th starter played 19 as Lorella Kubai hits the first shot to extend the lead now to 7. Kayla Jones won't go. And Georgia Tech will try and build on its largest lead of the afternoon.
Laughtonen got it. I mean, that's just simple miscommunication and not guarding the ball. NC State's worried about the screen and not keeping Laughtonen in front.
Pick and roll, Perez to Cunane.
I'm going to guess Frank West Moore lit a little fire under this team at halftime.
You would think. But how about Georgia Tech opening up the half, 3 for 3.
Yeah, I think this walking the ball up the floor has delayed their offensive cadence. Like, NC State is a rhythm team. There's no explosion about their offense. It's just a very settled jump shot looking team right now. And Kayla Jones is willing to take a couple of big shots here.
Jones hits the triple. She's got 8. Lawton bottled up, has to give it up.
See, much better job that time. Kai Crutchfield guarding the ball.
Spin to the baseline won't go, and here comes a fast break opportunity for NC State. They've been few and far between. And they have to circle back and reset. Cunane in the half-court offense, fouled by Hermosa, and that will be her 3rd.
So Hermosa has been on Cunane in the first part of the game, and Cunane was able to score. When Nell Fortner put Kubai on Cunane, it was a much tougher matchup for Cunane to have to manage. Now Hermosa has 3.
And she will have to come out here. Holly?
Well, that's exactly my point here, is Nerea Hermosa at 6'5" and Lorella Kubai at 6'4" have been really big physical matchups on Cunane. They were very intentional in that first quarter about how they were getting her the basketball and getting her involved in plays, but she played just 14 minutes in that first half. They weren't as intentional in that second quarter with Kubai on her. She's got to come alive. They need more from Cunane in this game.
Yeah, that was just the 2nd trip to the free throw line today for NC State. And they've whittled it down to 4. We talked about Louisville fighting for a potential #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. That is also out there to be gotten for NC State, which of the teams, Debbie, fighting for a top line spot, they might just have the best resume with wins over #1 Louisville and #1 South Carolina, both on the road for the first time in NCAA history.
Right, they have the best resume when it comes to wins. And the 2 losses, one was without Cunane in overtime to Virginia Tech, who is an excellent basketball team.
The other was rival North Carolina.
And so the North Carolina loss cost NC State a lot more than just an L in the column. It cost them potentially being the #1 seed in the ACC tournament and the regular season champion. And it cost them a chance to be overall ranked #1 in the country, because that was coming had they won.
Yep. Just the 4th time ever that a team had beaten 2 #1 opponents. NC State's special because they were both on the road and they were both during the regular season. And there's a look at the resumes. South Carolina has the net rank. NC State, though, has head-to-heads over both of the other 2 combatants. And even though the committee does not consider conference championships, Debbie, I think the human factor, it's always in the back of your mind whenever you're talking about it in that room, because that's what we're all talking about too. That is something that Louisville could get 2, a regular season and a tournament title.
Well, then you go back to the eye test, okay, and who's playing their best basketball right now. And I mean, Louisville's up there, Maryland is in the conversation. And let's see what happens with the rest of this tournament and the SEC.
Yeah.
Of course, there was already a huge upset in women's basketball today in the Summit League. Now, a lot of people might not think that's a big deal, but South Dakota State lost as the 1 seed to the 8 seed Omaha. And I don't know if that's a 2-bid league.
That could steal a bid if the committee thinks it is. I would think that's a 1-bid league.
I think it's a 1-bid league. That might help Notre Dame. Who knows? They're out there hoping for some help.
24 years in a row with a trip to the NCAA tournament. Charlie Cream says it is a 50-50 proposition at best that they will be headed back. They had the early exit here at the ACC tournament, and Cunane got tangled with Kubai and is called for the offensive foul. That's her 2nd. Here's what Charlie Cream says about the Bubblers. Wake Forest looks to be good. And Notre Dame amongst the first 4 out. In fact, the first team out. And Debbie, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to the NCAA tournament on the men's side, they have announced if a team has a problem with COVID issues, they would have a team on standby. Has that been announced yet for the women's side? I don't believe that has been determined yet. If one of the last 4 teams out may be able to be a replacement team.
Yeah, I don't know if the women have made a determination on that, and there is some rumor that there would be an NIT on the women's side. Of course, the men are taking their NIT to Texas. Just 16 teams, though. But the NCAA owns the NIT on the men's side and not on the women's side.
NCAA men's tournament all in and around Indianapolis. The women's tournament all in and around San Antonio. We're going to set up a couple of courts at the Alamo Dome, and the women will have the entire Sweet 16, Elite 8, and Final 4 in one spot.
It's going to be exciting. It'll be really exciting when that happens, when there's fans one day, and the fans can take advantage of it.
And our Hall of Fame stadium reporter Holly Rowe says they do indeed have the replacement teams lined up on the women's side as well. And the 3-ball right there for Kiera Fletcher. Ends a 4-minute scoring drought for the Rec.
Displacement foul on Kubai as Cunane fighting to get to the block. Kiera Fletcher, 21 points last night in the win, and she sticks a corner triple for Tech.
In conference tournaments, history always takes center stage. But this year, history shares the stage with something greater. Justice. United, we ball.
Georgia Tech with the lead at the break, and they are maintaining it through this 3rd quarter. 10 points from 5 different scorers, everybody getting involved in a 43-37 lead. And they have not only controlled the tempo, Debbie, they dominated it today and have really held NC State in check. For a team that averages close to 80 per game, they are well short of that pace so far. Lorella Kubai in and out.
Yesterday, Wes Moore was talking about sometimes we play HTM defense, hope they miss. You know, that's not the case today. I mean, Georgia Tech has been the aggressor to this point.
Jones. Oh, the lane opened up for her, and she'll take it.
See, that's a good choice by Kayla Jones, and that's part of the reason why the hybrid is part of her definition. She can go inside, out, shoot the 3, make decisions on the top of the floor. More than just a stretch 4. She's the hybrid 4. Getting closer to that positionless basketball. That's 2 fouls off the ball on Cunane in this half.
And 1 on Kubai. So they let him bump in the first half, and now the whistles are blowing, and Cunane will depart.
Yeah, see, I don't like that, Beth. Remember we made a comment about that in the first half. You're going to let them play. You can't tighten it up in the second.
Huge development here. That's the 3rd on Cunane. She will depart. Down 4, 3 minutes to go in the quarter. And will Kubai now go to work against Camille Hobby? He does and scores.
She is tough. I mean, she is a competitive kid. Nell Fortner loves her. Smart, hardworking, great student, great teammate.
10 points and 8 boards. Jones off the cross, finds the shooter. Brown-Turner. Won't go.
Jakia Brown-Turner, 2 for 8 in the game.
Loyal McQueen had an open look. Lautner got hit in the face. She's slow to come to the other end, and State coughs it up. Lautner appears to be all right.
Have you ever met a more positive, enthusiastic coach than Nell Fortner? Constantly positive with her players. Always building confidence.
They are feeling it for sure. Crutchfield whistled for the hold on Lautner. You heard Muffet McGraw talking about this at halftime. State's inability to stop the dribble drive has been an issue.
They're not guarding in the primary, and they're allowing Georgia Tech to get into that second level, which forces rotation, which breaks down your defense and gives Lorella Kubai an angle to offensive rebound.
Fletcher, mid-range, got it. 21 yesterday and now 10 today for Fletcher. Go along with 7 rebounds. Crutchfield answers.
That's her first basket of the game. She's got the assignment on Lautner here in the second half. Only 1 basket for Lautner.
Through the double at Lodamai there. Kubai. Going to get the arm bar again on the defender, I believe here. Hobby.
Well, guys, I'm looking at this game of Lorella Kubai, just thinking how she could translate to the next level. She's a senior, and there are WNBA coaches here. Had a conversation with Nikki Collin, the Atlanta Dream head coach, and Chris Cienko, their GM. They're out for the first time since November looking at players live in these conference tournaments. So she's somebody that could come out if she wanted to, but she does have that extra year of eligibility left if she wanted to return to Tech.
There's no question, Holly. I mean, she has the ability to score on the block. She's a tough ball screen defender. She can guard in the 2-man game. She can guard on the perimeter. She does have 3-point range. She hasn't shown it as much this year, but in her past her past years at Georgia Tech, definitely a 3-point threat. And when you got a motor like that, and you're a good teammate like she is, that transfers over. Some of those added value qualities that the WNBA coaches evaluate.
Free throws here for NC State, and a reminder of what our schedule looks like tomorrow. Championship Sunday, the ACC final at noon Eastern, the SEC championship game at 2, and we already know the Pac-12, they took today off, a day off between the semis and the finals, so 8 Eastern tomorrow night, Stanford and UCLA.
Marianne Stanley from the Indiana Fever and Cheryl Reeve from the Minnesota Lynx. Here evaluating some talent.
Good to get back out on the road and see some familiar faces. Get in the gym, Debbie. The sweet aromas of an arena, the squeak of the sneaker, the feel of dimpled leather on your fingertips.
The smell, the squeak, and the snap of the net.
Kubai. And NC State may have the final look-see here of the third quarter. Boyd, baseline. Good defense by Georgia Tech and Kiera Fletcher. Upset brewing, Debbie. Into the fourth we go.
Lorella Kubai, look at this. You bring the one-on-one matchup, She can get to that midline and finish. "10 minutes to go for a spot in the ACC Finals. And don't forget to join us on ACC Championship Hub virtually for an interactive fan experience with exclusive content, highlights, and games. Download the ACC mobile app or visit accchampHub.com. Women's final is tomorrow. Then the men roll into Greensboro to get underway midweek. Louisville awaits the winner. The #1 seed beat Syracuse earlier today. And so they are into the championship game looking for their second ACC title in 4 years. And can Nell Fortner and Georgia Tech hold on here in the 4th quarter with the lead over the defending champs? Kayla Jones off the front rim. Lodemai Lautman's got it. I think Westmore has scripted every first possession of each quarter for Kayla Jones.
Kubai and Cunane head-to-head. Kubai spins to the left and lays it in.
So NC State might need to take a look at that matchup, and when she catches it that deep, you can't bring a double. It's too deep to bring the double, but they might have to turn her into a passer.
Cunane playing through 3 fouls, and Hermosa has just picked up her 4th. So now, who guards Elise, or do you have to go with Hermosa here?
I think I mean, Nell Fortner's going to sub her out, but she's not been as effective in that matchup as Kubai has been. And Lorella Kubai for Georgia Tech has 1 personal foul, so she can pound away here for a little bit.
So this should be good, Debbie. They are going to be head-to-head at both ends of the floor as of right now in the paint. Boyd air ball from outside, and the shot selection here is going to be critical. Debbie, the way that Georgia Tech has shrunk this game, there's not going to be many possessions for these teams.
Look, Jada Boyd's got to accept that there's a reason why you're open. That's not her game.
Cunane and Kubai again. Lorella tries the baseline. The double comes.
Make her a passer.
Loyal McQueen's going to get a look, and the rookie delivers.
Georgia Tech is in a flow. She just traveled with the basketball, Jada Boyd.
10-point lead for Tech. Crutchfield, and 1.
That's what you want your seniors to do. A senior who's played in big games. Kai Crutchfield turns the corner right here, and there's no stopping her getting to the rim. An and 1 opportunity. And NC State looks flat. They don't look connected. Georgia Tech has had everything to do with it. Maybe that play will shake them up.
8:20 to go, 7-point game. Lautman, they've done a much better job on her in the second half. Backdoor, McQueen, missed it.
Just the shot blocking presence of Cunane.
Will it be a factor too down the stretch here, Debbie? Experience in big games for NC State. Not much for Georgia Tech.
100%, Beth, because what you're evaluating now is who has the least amount of game slippage, meaning whose details are the best down the stretch, and who can make the best shots under duress, or the most shots. Because Jakia Brown-Turner like that. Kai Crutchfield and Jakia Brown-Turner have just done a great job making back-to-back plays.
Big scoop up and in. On the other side, how many points is the hunger worth? We heard Nell Fortner talk to Holly Rowe at halftime about that. This Georgia Tech team that has never won an ACC title. Trying to reach the final, and it's State with the takeaway. Jones on the run. Blocked by Kubai. They want Cunane to get a touch. The double down and a foul.
You know what, though? I like it by Nell Fortner. Be physical with Cunane. Make her work. Don't let her have anything easy. You know that Kubai can stand her up. Lotame Lawton is going to pick up the foul on the reach-in on the double.
Her second, so Kubai still would have 3 to give if need be and still stay in the ball game. And State gives it away.
Click game slippage.
Layup is up and in.
Quick strike by Georgia Tech off the turnover. Sloppy by NC State. Cunane is telling Crutchfield where she wants the ball.
Jones.
Georgia Tech really physical on that duck in.
3 ball is good. Brown Turner.
She came to the ACC tournament last year and hit big shots.
8-2 run for State. Lawton off the hesitation and another layup for Lotomai. A lot of contact inside and a foul on the drive for Jones.
I mean, you can, if you referee that matchup in the paint every time, they're putting the pressure on the officials right now.
Their bodies are mashing in that Cunane-Kubai matchup.
And Kai Crutchfield saying, hey, she's pushing off. Keep an eye on that, Denise Brooks.
One shot remains for Kaylee Jones.
What a game, huh, Beth? I mean, what a game.
Great to be back in the arena.
Yes.
Beth Mullins, Debbie Antonelli, Holly Rowe, Greensboro Coliseum. Timeout, Georgia Tech. 4-point game, 5.5 to go. Who wants to play tomorrow for an ACC championship?
Shining, I'm gonna find that light.
Jams it down!
Give me that bucket.
She hits big shots in big moments. And they're gonna get it!
We have a new tournament champion.
Big day tomorrow gets underway at noon with the ACC championship game right here from the Greensboro Coliseum. Will it be Georgia Tech or NC State joining top-seeded Louisville?
Georgia Tech ball.
SEC championship will follow, and then in primetime tomorrow night on ESPN2, the Pac-12 finals, Stanford and UCLA.
NC State foul number 3, Kai Crutchfield, for his second personal. First Wolfpack team foul on the court.
Steele on the inbound. Brown Turner.
Little heat check.
Oh, Crutchfield with a nice save.
Crutchfield's made a couple of big plays here late, and her defense on Lawton in the second half has been terrific.
Crutchfield. Got it!
3 big plays for Kai Crutchfield in the fourth quarter.
Down 10 to down 1. Under 5 to go. And Crutchfield has been the lockdown defender on Lautner as well. Top of your screen, number 31 in blue has been shut down in the second half. Kubai got around today.
So tough. What a big basket. Good footwork inside.
Oh, tough pass from Brown Turner.
That's a bad pass. Lorella Kubai, she has delivered. One-on-one in this matchup. Look at the step through off the glass. Georgia Tech with a 3-point fourth quarter lead. The matchup we featured at the beginning has delivered. Elisa Cunane and Lorella Kubai, both teams guarding in the one-on-one. Both defenders taking away the primary, forcing the other to counter, and they have made plays with their great footwork and their ability to score with their offhand. It's what every big post player should be able to do, especially at the D1 level.
And as a result, we've got a 3-point game. 4 minutes to go. Winner into the ACC final with Louisville. And for NC State, a chance to still fight for a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, good help by Kayla Jones. She pinched in to deter the entry pass to the post and then recovers back to make that deflection.
7 on the shot clock. Love left alone, 15-footer no.
Left alone because Jones was helping on the Kubai matchup.
Crutchfield off the bounce, hangs and hits. Big fourth quarter for Kai, and it's back to a 1-point game.
Kai Crutchfield had 2 points before the fourth quarter. She's had 8 in this quarter. She has made one big basket after another for NC State.
And I misspoke, that's Kai Crutchfield. Down the stretch for NC State. Turnover with Crutchfield defending on Lautner.
Turner into a passer. Turn Kubai into a passer. NC State's done a much better job of that a couple of times. You don't have to make her a passer every time, but she's turned it over.
Last lead was midway through the second quarter, and they've come back from 10 down. Perez, the step back, kept alive, and the kick out. Cunane with a touch, working on Kubai, got it to go, and the Wolfpack are on top.
Wes Moore says, where was the foul?
Lautner. 5 on the shot clock. McQueen taken away by Crutchfield, and they're going to whistle it and call it a held ball, and it will go back to Georgia Tech. Big break there.
1 on the shot clock. The possession didn't change. Jump ball. Watch this right here. Kai Crutchfield. Yeah, you can call that a jump ball. 1 on the shot clock.
Does not reset. Kubai, short. Cunane's got it. Under 2 to go.
That actually worked in NC State's favor to have that be a jump ball with 1 second on the shot clock.
Now they'll get the next possession.
Right.
Cunane to the right side, and it's good off the window and a foul. And Hermosa's fouled out.
We were waiting and watching what NC State was going to do. Trailing entering the fourth quarter. Were they going to make enough plays and avoid the game slippage? And were they going to be able to make shots under duress? They've done both those things to get the lead.
Down 10 early in the quarter. It is a 20-6 run since for NC State. And how does Georgia Tech now respond? Kubai looking for some space, gets into the lane, patient, off glass, no. Rebound Cunane and a snarl from the big smile.
Georgia Tech doesn't have any fouls to give. So the next foul would put NC State on the line for 2, but right here you just got to D up. You got to get a stop and you got to finish it with a rebound.
Jones, no doubt about the drive, but couldn't finish. Lautinen. And a timeout, Georgia Tech.
Good timeout, good.
Yep.
They were not sure, unsure, not playing confident in this possession. Good job by Nell Fortner.
A 20-6 run for NC State as a race to 10-point deficit. They lead by 4 with 35 seconds to go. And a Georgia Tech offense, Debbie, that has mustered just 5 baskets this quarter. Who do they turn to here?
Well, I think you're still going to Kubai, but she's got to get a deeper catch. It's much tougher for NC State to bring a double. She's been their best scorer here in the second half. The other thing, NC State's defense has definitely come alive. There she is.
Kubai, nice roll, but missed the layup. She flicked it up there instead of shooting it and then commits the foul.
Not in rhythm, playing too quickly, trying to finish that play, and then she's going to pick up a foul. Wide open. This is the easiest look she's had all game. And a little bump, and Cunane goes down.
She'll head to the line where she's 4 of 4 today. 20 points and 9 rebounds for Elisa. 1 of 4 in double figures for the Pack.
Big smile, doesn't miss many free throws, and certainly doesn't miss them when the game's on the line.
Even with this make, 2-possession game. And the quick timeout. And a foul going to be called on NC State. It's just their second team foul.
Georgia Tech still with I thought it was a timeout, but there's the foul also, and Georgia Tech's going to advance the ball.
Well, let's see how we got here with a big fourth quarter for the Pack, Debbie.
Well, Kai Crutchfield has been playing terrific defense all game, and in the fourth quarter, she started to find her stroke. She hits a 3, you come with a long closeout. She attacks it, gets to the rim. Cunane, tough night. This is a double ice bath game after going against Kubai. And she made a couple of big buckets here late to give NC State a 2-possession lead.
So 17 seconds left. And Georgia Tech will inbound from midcourt. They have held Lodamai Lautinen to just 4 points in the second half after she owned them in the first half. And Crutchfield a big reason why. Kubai with 15 points, 11 rebounds. Just missed the gimme layup. Lautner. Kubai found some space. They'll let her go and she'll lay it up and in.
Now Westmore has timeouts, but he doesn't always call it to advance the ball. He is going to use one here.
10.1 to play in a 3-point game. And I think Wes, talking with Denise Brooks, said, yeah, we'll bump it up here.
Yeah, I think both coaches have been chewing on the officials here in the fourth quarter. If you're NC State now, Georgia Tech is going to try to get a quick steal, a double team, a switching defense, and then they've got to foul right away. You know, if they don't come up with that, they've got to foul and put NC State on the line.
There really isn't a weakness in that regard for State. They're 10 of 11 at the line today. A good free throw shooting team.
Perez, the point guard, 82%. Cunane, 86, but missed her last. You got to screen if you're NC State. You got to cut hard to the ball, and you got to be strong with it.
The inbound to Cunane and the quick foul.
See, not many teams in the country can inbound the ball to their center.
Yeah. Cunane with the catch, elbows out to protect. And she is 5 of 6. They've only missed once in this second half today.
This one can make it a 3-possession, can put the game on ice.
Gets them both, so it's still a 5-point game.
Points. I'm sorry. That was my math.
8.8 to go. Don't forget that coming up next, the Nothing But Net crew has all the latest for you from around the ACC and college basketball. We'll have a complete breakdown of today's games right here on ACC Net and your ESPN app. Will Louisville get what they want? A rematch, a chance to avenge the regular season loss to NC State. Will the Wolfpack get its wish? A shot at going back-to-back ACC Tournament championships after they won last year for the first time since 1991. Or can Georgia Tech find a miracle finish here? And continue a quest to play for its first ACC crown.
NC State showing zone.
That was a travel. McQueen for 3. No. Rebound, Crutchfield. And that'll do it. It's the 1 seed and the 2 seed for the ACC championship tomorrow. Louisville and North Carolina State. Huge fourth quarter for the Wolfpack. They win it 66-61. And a valiant effort by Georgia Tech after their best ever third-place finish in the ACC. They will now advance to the NCAA tournament and a team to be reckoned with.
You see the emotion on Lorella Kubai, who played her heart out. And you know what? They're going to be a tough out in the NCAA tournament as well. Their season is not over, but NC State survives to play for another title.
Kai Crutchfield now standing by with our Holly Rowe.
Kai Crutchfield, you took this game over personally in the fourth quarter. What did you make up your mind to do, and how did you do it?
I mean, it was a team effort. First, we had to get a stop on defense, and the execution on defense created our offense. And I mean, KJ and I were seniors, and last year we made it, and our goal was to make it and go back to back.
Your defense on Lautner was huge in the second half. You held her to 2 buckets. What was your mindset?
She's a great player, and she's an X factor of Georgia Tech's team, and my goal was to try to lock her down as much as I can to help my team.
This was a big moment for Alyssa Cunane in the paint. How hard was that matchup, Alyssa? Kubai was difficult.
Me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Oh, there we go.
There we go, yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. She's a great player, very physical. It was tough to play against her, but late in the game she was getting buckets, and so the team helped me weak side, so we were just able to score more than them.
In a game where you trailed almost the entire game, what was the most important thing, both of you answer, to close this out?
I think think the toughest team was just to keep our heads on strong. We felt the pressure of trying to complete the game. You know, we want to win, we want to advance. So I think that we just had to remember who NC State is, do the little things, keep everyone's head in the game, and keep the energy, motivate each other, and that's what we were able to do and come back. We never let our heads get down.
All right, this sets up a big-time matchup now with Louisville, a team that you beat once already this season. What will be the key tomorrow?
The key for us is just be to execute on offense and defense, play like I know NC State Wolfpack can, and to continue to have the confidence in my teammates.
Alyssa, how do you come out quicker in that championship game tomorrow?
You know, we'll have a little bit extra energy behind us tomorrow. We just got to know that it's the last game. We have 2 games behind us now. It's the last game. We got to give it everything we got.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you, Holly. A 66-61 win as NC State wins the 4th quarter and wins the day. And they will face Louisville in the ACC Championship game on our Championship Sunday coverage. A triple header begins at noon with our ACC final all set up. Now let's get you back to the studio, and the ladies will break it down for you.
Welcome into Nothing But Net alongside Muffet McGraw, Kelly Gramlich, and Monica McNutt. I'm Kelsey Riggs. You guys, does it get any better than what we just saw right there between NC State and Georgia Tech? The finals are now set. We'll see NC State and Louisville go head-to-head, #1 seed versus #2 seed. The last time these two teams played on February 1st, it was one of the most anticipated games, not just of the ACC season, but of the college basketball season. And this is certainly set up to be a great championship game tomorrow at noon on ESPN2. But before we talk about that game, let's break down what we just saw from NC State, Monica. The way that they were able to come back at the end, take the lead with about 1.5 minutes to go. I mean, your impressions overall of this Wolfpack team?
This team is not only balanced, they are poised and mature. They responded perfectly when the game got tight in the 4th quarter. And Cal mentioned before the game in terms of putting respect on players' names, Kai Crutchfield is clutch. And I don't care what you say. You think back to last season versus Maryland, last season versus FSU in this same tournament, this season versus South Carolina, and then tonight. She may not average the most points, but she shows up when her team needs her the most. The balance of this group tonight and the poise was so impressive.
Mon, I think you mean Kai Clutchfield. Okay, that's how clutch she was. I apologize for that. That was awful. That was rough. But she was so clutch. You're exactly right. And she played like a senior, like she said in her post-game interview. And I was talking about Loda Mai at halftime. Kai Crutchfield maybe had an AirPod in the locker room because she said, all right, I'm going to shut that down. She shut down Loda Mai Lawton in the second half. I thought that was maybe the biggest key for NC State, in addition to Cunane going beast mode inside in the last 5 minutes.
Exactly. I thought Clutchfield did the job. She was clutch. She came up big, but NC State's smart enough to know we're getting the ball to our best player. And down the stretch, it was all Cunane. Crutchfield certainly did some great things to get us there and defensively. And then I think Georgia Tech, their balloon just burst a little bit at the end. I thought they played as well as they could play for 3 quarters. And credit them. What a great showing for them today.
Kelly, you mentioned Loda Mai Lawton, and she just had 4 points in the second half, so they certainly were able to shut her down. But what did you notice from this Georgia Tech team, Kelly, that really stood out to you? Because we're going to see them down the road in the NCAA tournament, and they're a very good team as well.
Well, I thought Lorella Kubai left her heart and soul out there on the floor. We saw that she was emotional at the end of the game, and this is what we love to see, that love of the game from Lorella Kubai, that competitiveness. She is the heart and soul of that Georgia Tech team. So with Kubai, with Lawton, and with Kiara Fletcher also playing well, McQueen hitting threes, I think Georgia Tech has an extremely high ceiling in the NCAA tournament. And the way they played NC State, as Charlie Cream mentioned to us last night, that should factor into their seeding, and I think they should move up a little bit in the NCAA tournament bracket.
I think that's a great point about what this game does for their seeding, Cal. I will say they only hit 3 threes in this ball game, and so I do think that whether it's Loyal McQueen or Fletcher. They got to get a little bit more from the outside, but I was very impressed with their defensive continuity. Kubai was huge. We saw her emotional down the stretch in that ball game. But I think if you can get a little bit more from behind the arc on the perimeter, that gives her just she doesn't need much room. Let me just clarify. She doesn't need a ton of room. But if your guards are knocking down threes, she's got even more room to work.
Yeah, and let's not forget they lost Bates earlier in the season, and that was a key loss for them. A great three-point shooter, somebody that could really stretch the defense and help them out. That's why they're having to play so many freshmen, and I think those freshmen played a little bit like freshmen at the end of the game.
More to come from Georgia Tech later on this year. The ACC right now, according to Charlie Cream, has 8 teams who are getting in, but NC State punches their ticket to the finals for the 16th time. They've already won 5 of those, and they are trying to win back-to-back for the first time ever. So let's take a look at what happened to lead to who they will be playing. We had number 5 seed Syracuse, number 1 seed Louisville going head-to-head earlier today. Last minute of the first quarter, Louisville up big. Haley Van Lith, the freshman, had a career day yesterday. Came out today knocking down threes again. Next play, same score. That's the other freshman on the other side, Camila Cardoso, who puts it in. Syracuse cuts the lead to just 6, but then defense turning to offense, Kelly, for Louisville.
And that's when Louisville is their best. They turn their defense into transition points. Mikasa Robinson, known more as a defender, but this is a tough finish. Over 6'7", Camila Cardoso. That's really impressive from Mikasa Robinson.
Third quarter, Emily Angsler hits the 3. Game high 21 points, 10 rebounds. Syracuse cuts it to double digits, but Louisville got points from all over. Norika Kona, 10 off the bench. And of course, their 2-time ACC Player of the Year, Dana Evans, doing her part up and under. Louisville wins 72-59. Here's Jeff Walls after the game.
As I told him in the locker room after the game, now it's going to take everybody. Everybody tomorrow is going to have to play well. You can't have 2 or 3 not play well and then someone comes off the bench and plays well. Everybody's got to play well, no matter if it's NC State or Georgia Tech. It's going to be a battle. We're going to have to play really, really well. And I know that, and our kids are also aware of that. But we're able to do it.
Guys, I know this Louisville team is smiling, saying, okay, we get another shot at NC State in the finals with everything on the line. Last time they played on February 1st, NC State won 74-60. And we'll dive a little bit more into that matchup later. But right now, this Louisville team, Monty, and what we're seeing from them as far as the balanced scoring, I mean, they got points from all over today.
Yeah, and as we led into this game, Kels, we talked about what Coach Walls might be saying to his team. And I think, to me, it echoes what he said in the postgame. Everybody has to get better in terms of being able to have balanced production. Now, what I will say is everybody contributing means a little bit different depending on who you are. Sure, Norika Kono's 10 points today when she only averages 3 were impressive. We love if we can get that. But the big key tomorrow is going to be getting the reliable scoring from Dana Evans as your leader, and then the supporting cast also showing up.
Another one of those great coaching nuggets. In order to win, we've got to play really well. That goes right along with we've got to score and make some shots. And certainly that's what every coach wants to say. But they do. They need that balance that they had today. But I'm with you, Monica. Dana Evans, it's go time. She needs to step up and be the Player of the Year.
And Kelly, what do you think we'll see from Dana Evans? We heard from her after the game and how she's doing her part to make sure that everybody's involved, because that's the kind of effort that they'll need and that they didn't have last time that they played NC State.
I think we'll see Dana Evans. I think we will see Dana bring it in a championship setting. Now, she's facilitated a little more. We heard her post-game interview a little earlier in the day, how she was trying to get other players going, get their confidence up. I thought that was a real glimpse into her leadership. But I think Dana Evans has been waiting for this chance. They didn't make it to the championship game last year. The NCAA tournament was canceled. I have seen such a laser-focused Dana Evans talking about championship or bust. Mon, you said it earlier. This is why she came back. She wants to win championships. She wants to hang banners. I think we're going to see a locked-in Dana Evans tomorrow.
Dana obviously is a huge key, but going into this game, we talked about the matchup of the bigs, and I still think that remains a huge key tomorrow as well. And when we think back to when these teams met in the regular season and NC State won that game, that was the first time to me that I saw a weakness that could be significant for this Louisville Cardinals team, and it was their ability to rebound against NC State. Now, if Dana Evans is hitting shots, then you don't need second chance opportunities. But even if not, they're going to have to figure out a way to get to the glass, and that's not just Dana's problem.
Right now, all eyes on what's going to happen tomorrow in the ACC Championship, a rematch between NC State and Louisville. And we cannot wait. As you see Monica right there, very excited about that. We've got a lot more to get to after this. Stick around. Championship game set for noon tomorrow on ESPN2. We will be with you before the game. I'm sorry, at 12 o'clock, I should say, on ESPN2. We'll be with you before the game at 11:30, and then afterwards, an hour-long show breaking it all down right here on ACC Network. Let's take a recap now and see what we just saw between Georgia Tech and NC State, because, man, this was a phenomenal semifinals game. First quarter, Georgia Tech up 1. Elisa Cunane gets it started early. NC State takes a 1-point lead. Then a minute later, they're still on top. More from Cunane. And when things start going well with her coach, it's usually a good sign for NC State. But Georgia Tech, they were in it too.
You know, you saw down the stretch, what are they going to do? They're going inside and going to Cunane. That was a tough matchup for Kubai. Hermosa fouled out. They had trouble guarding her. They probably could have done that a little bit earlier in the game, but when the game is on the line, they want the ball in her hands.
Early fourth quarter, Georgia Tech up 7. Loyal McQueen, you want more freshmen? We've got them. She makes it a 10-point lead, but watch out for Kai Crutchfield in the fourth quarter. She went off. Georgia Tech lead just to 1, and then Cunane clutch gives NC State the lead. They win. Here is Georgia Tech's head coach after the loss.
Yeah, I'm really proud of this team and what we've accomplished in these 2 days. And I thought we grew up a lot in this setting. This is a team that's never been in this position before, so I thought they left it all on the floor today. We just couldn't, that last 4 minutes, we just couldn't quite find enough points, and we let a couple of players get loose on us and score. But really proud of how we fought really hard today and gave ourselves a chance to win. And you know, we'll keep growing from this, and one day this experience will pay off for us. But I thought that this team came out and played really, really hard and did everything they could to give themselves an opportunity to win.
Okay, we'll go to questions now, and we'll start with Pepper Persley. Go ahead, Pepper.
Hi, Coach. Nice to talk with you today. As you mentioned, this program has made a lot of strides this season. How you learned from this run in the ACC tournament and continue to build for the NCAA tournament as well as the future.
Yeah, we just have to use this experience, Pepper, to continue to be hungry to win at the next level, to get this program, you know, where we're in contention to win an ACC title, where we're in contention to win a national title. So we'll use this experience to keep working on our game and become a better team so we can keep playing at the highest level and winning.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Pepper, how old are you?
I'm 9, almost 10 now, almost 10.
Are you going to be a reporter one day?
Yes, definitely, but I'm doing it now.
Okay, that's awesome. I love it. Do you have a blog? where can I read your stuff?
Well, I have Instagram. I mainly do interviews, but I work for The Next, and my Instagram is @dishwithpepper.
Okay, I'm looking you up today, okay?
Thank you.
Very good. Let's go to Steve Phillips next. Go ahead, Steve.
Steve Phillips with ACC. I can't follow that, though, but just wanted to.
That's tough to follow.
It is. Just wanted to see if you could talk a little bit about Cunane. I guess the way she finished is what everybody's kind of afraid of. Did you think for 37 minutes you probably did as well as could be expected against her? defensively.
She's a really tough player to guard because she's so, she's just skilled offensively. And you really need at least another half a person to help with her. But that's hard with NC State because they've got great shooters, surrounding her and other players that you have to be, guarding. So, yeah, she's really good. She takes advantage of all of her opportunities, and then she's a really good free throw shooter. So she's drawing fouls and getting to the line, so she gets to add those points to her total also.
On the previous question, you were discussing what you had to do going forward in the NCAAs and looking ahead from here. Looking over the last two nights, overall, the way you played overall, and also the fact that you had contributions from a lot of different players, different people stepping up the last couple. Do you feel like you're in a good spot now going forward?
I feel good. I feel like our kids they're hungry. They're excited about being having an opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament, something that they've never done before. And so it's just another one of those stepping stones for this program to consistently play at a level in contention for ACC titles and national championships. Yeah, we'll use this opportunity in the next week and a half to clean some things up so we can get to that NCAA tournament and see what kind of run we can make.
Thank you.
Okay, first of all, shout out to Pepper, who is definitely coming from
Yes.
our
Yes.
job. Shout out to Nell Fortner for being the plug for Pepper and getting her whole Instagram on here. And of course,
I did it already.
Out to Georgia Tech for what they were able to do so far this season. But while we're giving shout outs, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our next guest from NC State. Kayla Jones going to join us. Actually, in just a second, to keep the suspense building just a little longer. She's not coming just yet. But guys, as we wait for Kayla Jones, Monica, we heard Kai Crutchfield say that her and KJ had talked about, hey, this is our senior year. We want to make it back to the tournament. On the other side, you've got Dana Evans, who came back for a moment like this. When you think about the senior leadership, Monty, of both of these teams and what this game means, what's that going to be like?
It's funny, Kel, first of all, it's a little bit nostalgic watching this tournament because last year, that was the last time we were all together. But I think about the senior class from last year's group, that group had the same sort of sense of urgency. And so I think Coach Westmore has done a good job of bringing up his leaders through the ranks in the 4 years that they're under him. And so Kayla and Kai clearly take that very seriously, and it shows. But you lead by example, and both of them were solid tonight. Kai in particular, super clutch.
Speaking of Kayla Jones, we are getting ready to talk to her right now. Had a fantastic performance, 12 points, 8 rebounds in the win over Georgia Tech. NC State advancing to the finals in back-to-back years, trying to win it in back-to-back seasons for the first time ever. And we welcome in Kayla Jones now. Kayla, congratulations on the win. We heard Kai after the game talking about what it meant to you and her in particular, being seniors, and how much you guys wanted to be back playing in this title game. If you could just tell me, what does it mean to you?
It's amazing. Coach Moore really was getting on us at halftime that we had to step up as leaders and really just bring the underclassmen along. And we showed that energy today. And it means a lot being able to go back and compete in the championship game again.
Kayla, I know that you just got off the floor, so this may be tough to answer, but I felt like at that under 5 mark in the fourth quarter, you guys kind of flipped a switch and you said, we're not losing this game. We have that big game experience. Do you feel like there was a moment that stands out in the fourth quarter that you felt like, okay, we're going to win this game, and you were feeling a little better about the outcome?
In the locker room we was talking, I really feel like it was when either Jakia 3 or Kai 3. And that's when everybody was yelling. And that's when we get our momentum, when we're hyping each other up and just yelling. Like, literally, Coach Moore got mad at me yesterday and was like, can you yell? Can you do something to get these girls going? And just yelling and just being energetic because they feed off of their energy. And as a leader, I just yell anything. I'm like, yeah, that's the start we needed. And you can see how it turned around, and they were real energetic.
Who's the leader on the floor? When you guys were at the free throw huddle and the game is definitely not going your way throughout the game, who's the one that's talking to everybody about what needs to happen?
I would say me, but I feel like it's a team effort because when I'm down, I have someone else in my ear. So I really feel like it's a team effort.
During the game, KJ, we talked a lot about experience, or Debbie Antonelli in particular was talking about experience, and you guys have been in this position. Is there a game that you can point to that you already had through the course of the regular season that kind of gave you the boost that you needed to know that you guys could perform?
Oh, yeah. We always go back on the UNC game because we feel like we didn't do what Coach asked us to do. We didn't run the floor. We didn't run our transition. And that's when we know when we see that, we have to calm ourselves down and be like, yo, let's get back to what we do. And when we run the floor, we get the ball inside out and get at least the touches, and then they either have to stop her or you got shooters around her. And so just staying true to Coach Moore's plan, that's real critical.
For sure. And Kayla, I want to ask a little bit about tomorrow. It's the matchup that we wanted selfishly here in the studio. We wanted a little NC State Louisville Part 2. I know you guys got the win in Louisville. That game has to give you some confidence. But what are you looking forward to the most about the rematch tomorrow?
Just being able to compete, and you win the championship game the second year, like really. Back to back. And I'm just excited to compete and go against a top team in the ACC. And we're excited. That's all. As a team, we're excited.
All right, KJ, I know you're just excited about the opportunity to play both in the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament, but our job in the studio has been to analyze these brackets and all this nonsense. What do you think about you guys possibly moving to the one line?
If the opportunity presents itself, it'll be great. But really, after that Carolina loss, I went in that locker room and said, forget the rankings, and we just need a win. And that's how we going into it. We taking it one game at a time, and I think it's showing now. We not taking no team lightly, and we just trying to do what we could do to be the best team we could be.
A gutsy win today for sure. Kayla, congratulations. We're looking forward to seeing round 2 tomorrow. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. Hey, no cap.
Well, that was fun. Kayla would certainly love to be holding this trophy when it's all said and done tomorrow, but so would Louisville. We'll talk about the rematch when we come back. Welcome back into Nothing But Net. Greensboro, North Carolina, the home of the 44th ACC Championship. We are getting ready for the championship game tomorrow between Louisville and NC State. You can download the mobile app or visit accchampHub.com for a full behind the scenes and getting you ready for that game. Speaking of that game, the last time that Louisville and NC State played, February 1st. It was one of the most anticipated games in college basketball, a top 5 matchup. NC State won 74-60, and now we get the rematch. Round 2 coming your way tomorrow as you take a look at how the numbers lined up when these two teams played on February 1st. Right now, it's going to feature the top scoring offense in Louisville versus the second scoring defense in the conference in NC State. Quite the exciting matchup between these two. Kelly, what are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow?
Well, just the fact that we're going to get this high-powered matchup in terms of the ACC championship, I'm getting football vibes, right? We got Clemson, Notre Dame in the regular season, then Clemson, Notre Dame in the ACC championship. To me, it's the same thing, and I'm super excited for it. I can't wait to watch it. It is interesting, though, because NC State had a lot of success in that first matchup. You just saw the numbers there. They really handled Louisville in the second half. So I'm sure Louisville's going to be very motivated, but to me, it's whichever star can handle the moment and carry their team the most. Is it going to be Dana Evans? Is it going to be Elisa Cunane? You're going to have to tune in tomorrow, all the viewers out there, because it's going to be a great game.
Kel, that's how you do a plug, my partner. Okay, look, so let me pull a page out of your book, though, Kel, on the numbers. 44-29. That was the rebounding margin the first time that these two teams met. And I know as much as things change and both of these teams look a little bit different from when they met previously, some things stay the same. And if Louisville gets clobbered on the glass like that, I do not like their chances.
Coach, we've talked a lot about the ACC two-time Player of the Year in Dana Evans, but for NC State, a lot of the focus is on Elisa Cunane. What do you expect to see from her tomorrow?
I expect a big game from her tomorrow. However, she has a terrific supporting cast, and I think that's what really separates her. But she can score in so many different ways. I love her, the way she can move, their versatility when she works the pick and roll. I think that she's somebody that is really active inside. She's going to keep looking for the ball. but you just can't stop her when she's on the move. I think her advantage is when she's continuing to be on the move. But if you double down, which Louisville probably will be a mismatch inside, they're going to have to look to go inside to Kayla Jones. Cunane on the three-point line, a very capable three-point shooter. You're not going to be able to double. And I think they'll be able to take advantage of that mismatch inside, especially if Robinson guards Jones. And then here you're going to be able to see so many different things. They're going to look to go a little high-low against the zone. I think that's a really difficult place for them to guard. If they can get the ball to the mid-post, they can get an easy layup in the low post. And then they have the shooter in the corner if Louisville decides to drop in and take that away. But defensively, she can do so many things. But, you know, she can put it on the floor if you kind of body up to her. She's going to be able to put it on the floor and go right around you. And that's what I thought she had so much success with in the last game. But she is a tall order. And Louisville's got some posts, but they're young.
Monty, we talk a lot about experience and how it matters in the postseason, especially tournament time. NC State didn't just play in this game last year. They won the ACC tournament last year. Louisville has two key freshmen who have been outstanding all tournament long, but they are freshmen. Does experience matter, you think, in this game, Monica?
I do, if you have it. It doesn't matter if you don't. In fact, just go out and play basketball as you've been doing since probably second grade or so. I don't want to put too much on that. I do think in this matchup, it's just the balance that stands out from NC State. But I think Haley Van Lith, even though she only had 8 points today, she came off that 24-point performance. What I do believe, in sincerity, is Dana's relationship with her teammates in terms of trying to get them going. Now, Dana still has to do her thing tomorrow as well, but I think that they will have to draw from Dana's experience because Dana, although she didn't get to the championship game last year, she's been in these moments.
She has, and that's a really good point, Mom. I think they will have to draw from Dana's experience. I thought NC State's experience showed out today. I thought that was the biggest factor for NC State in the fourth quarter. Kayla Jones, Kai said, look, we're not losing this game. And so that's what NC State has, and that's going to be a very tough thing for Louisville to overcome. My biggest key for Louisville, and Coach, you kind of mentioned it, the two young post players in Olivia Cochran and Liz Dixon. Liz Dixon, who now is technically a junior. Can they slow down Cunane? You've got two of them. You've got 5 fouls each. But that matchup, those two versus Cunane, that's the biggest matchup for me tomorrow.
Coach, coach's mindset going into this game, what are both of these coaches thinking quickly?
You know, it's it's going to be tough, I think, because NC State coming off those two games where the post players are playing 40 minutes a game. I think they're going to be tired. They're going to have to maybe adjust their game plan. So I think Louisville's going to want to run, use the depth.
Louisville, NC State, round 2 is going to be our championship game this way tomorrow. ESPN 2 will be with you before and after. We'll see you then.
Van Lith will spot it up and hit it. Don't even hesitate, HVL. Reina Perez raining down the three. I mean, Lola Maya is just lighting it up here in the first half. Oh, that pass right to Dana Evans. And we're going lefty for the lay-in. Gonna make you pay. We just set foot here in us. Evans tries to wrap it around the backside and does. Kono, open look, got it. What a boost off the bench. We were waiting and watching what NC State was going to do.